Finding a dog trainer in Lancaster, Ohio. It can feel like a really big deal, right? Well, that's exactly what we're here to help with. We're going to break down everything you need to know to find that perfect fit for you and your dog.
You know, life with a dog here is pretty special, isn't it? We're talking about those quiet neighborhood walks, getting out to explore some of those gorgeous local parks, and having a dog who's a great companion just makes all of that so much better.
So let's talk about how training really sets you up for success, especially for the kind of life we live right here in Lancaster. Think about it. A good trainer helps your dog become a fantastic neighbor. It's about being able to navigate busy places like Rising Park without any drama, or staying calm when the Lancaster Festival is in full swing. And what about when you're on a trail and you come across some deer? It's really all about making your life together easier and just more fun.
All right, so where do you even begin? Well, the first thing you really want to get a handle on is the trainer's whole approach. Let's talk about the training methods and the credentials that actually matter.
Okay, so the method you're going to hear about most, and for good reason, is positive reinforcement. It's simple, really. You reward the behavior you want to see with things your dog loves, like treats or praise. It works. It's humane, and honestly, it's one of the best ways to build a really strong, trusting relationship with your dog.
Now, on the other side of that coin, this is what you absolutely want to stay away from. Any trainer that uses intimidation, fear, or pain. Those are just outdated methods. They can actually make behavior problems worse and, really break that trust you have with your dog.
So, how can you tell if a trainer knows their stuff? Well, look for some letters after their name. Things like CPDTKA. That basically tells you they have a solid understanding of modern, science-backed training. And then you have more advanced ones, like CBCCKA, which are for trainers who handle more serious issues, like real anxiety or aggression.
Okay, so you found a trainer who seems qualified and you like their philosophy. What's next? Now you've got to pick the right kind of program. Let's look at the options to see what's going to be the best fit for you and your dog.
All right, here's a quick look at the main choices. Group classes. They're awesome for socialization and getting your dog to listen even with distractions around. The trade-off is you get less one-on-one time. Private lessons are fantastic for very specific problems you're having at home, like jumping on guests. They do cost more per session, though. And then there's board and train. This is an intensive, immersive option, but you absolutely have to do your homework and make sure the facility is top-notch.
All right, let's talk about the practical side of things, because, of course, budget matters. We'll look at what training typically costs here in Lancaster, and then get into the key questions you should be asking any trainer you're considering.
Just to give you a ballpark idea to start with, a pretty standard 6-week group obedience class around here is going to run you somewhere in this range. A lot of people start here, so it's a good number to keep in mind.
And here's a wider look at the costs for different services. You can see private lessons are more per hour, but that makes sense, right? It's completely tailored to you. And a board and train? Well, that's a much bigger investment. You're paying for room, board, and really intensive 24/7 training. Seeing these numbers helps you figure out what makes sense for your budget and your training goals.
Now, when you're talking to a potential trainer, there are a few things you definitely want to ask. First up, what's your main training philosophy? And what does a typical session actually look like? Their answer should really line up with that positive approach we talked about, and asking about a typical session gives you a real peek into how they work. Next, you'll want to ask about their professional certifications and how they continue their education. This isn't about being picky, it's about seeing their commitment. A truly great trainer never stops learning. It shows you they're dedicated to using the best, most current, and humane methods out there.
And finally, I would for sure ask about results. Something like, how do you measure progress, and what does success look like for my dog? This is all about making sure you're both on the same page from the start. A good trainer will be able to clearly spell out the goals and how you'll both track your dog's progress.
Okay, so you've got a trainer and a plan. Now it's time to put those new skills to the test out in the real world. Let's go over some important local rules and then check out some of the best spots around town to practice.
Being a great dog owner in Lancaster means knowing the local rules. It's pretty straightforward, really. You've got your good neighbor checklist right here. Always use a leash and keep it no longer than 8 feet in public. Make sure your dog's current rabies tag is right there on their collar where everyone can see it. And, be mindful of nuisance barking. Just basic stuff to keep the peace and be respectful. And this is where all that training really starts to shine. You've got great places to practice. Dogwood Park is perfect for working on recall off-leash in a safe, fenced-in area. The trails at Rising Park and Alley Park,
they're awesome for practicing leash skills with real-life distractions, like other hikers or even some wildlife. And the Fairfield Heritage Trail is just ideal for practicing polite walking as bikes, joggers, and other dogs go by.
At the end of the day, finding the right trainer is really just the first step. A well-trained dog makes every single part of your life here in Lancaster, from those walks on the Heritage Trail to just chilling at home, so much safer and more enjoyable for everyone involved. It really opens up your world together.